Alright, welcome back to lecture number 16, which says reading values from the cloud and pushing it into the PLC. Alright, in the last lecture we see how to push the value from PLC to the cloud. Now we'll see the opposite way, because sometimes you want to change the parameters and you can send the parameters from the cloud to your local or remote places. So this is a quite wide application. So let's see how we can do that in a secure way. Alright, so in the last video we have seen how to push the value from the PLC to the cloud. Now we'll see the opposite way, because this is also required in some applications. So the hardware which I'm using is the same: PLCnext trainer, Raspberry Pi, temperature and humidity sensor. And if you see the software part, we have NodeRed, which is installed in the PLC, as we have seen in the last video. And we have an IBM Cloud, and in this case we will install NodeRed in the cloud. Okay, installing NodeRed in the cloud. That's the new step we have to see in this video, and how we can send the values from the cloud to the NodeRed local. For example, now why I use this NodeRed in the cloud, let me just explain you. In the last example, we have seen that how the PLC sends the value to the cloud. We have seen this, and we have a dashboard with some cards, where we were watching the values of temperature and we were watching the value of humidity, for example. But this dashboard has no way to push the value or to enter the value. You can't enter the value in this dashboard. It is not allowed. There is no such feature. So we need an application in which user has the possibility to enter the values. So in this case, we use NodeRed, because in NodeRed we know there is a dashboard in which you can enter some numerical values. Okay, so what we're going to do in today's example, we're going to push the values from the cloud, in which we will install NodeRed. That's the step one, and this cloud will push the value in the NodeRed of PLCnext. So this NodeRed will then send the value back to the PLC. So the value will go from cloud NodeRed to the NodeRed in the PLCnext, and then to the PLC via OPC UA. All right, that's the connection. So I will show you a small example what we're going to do. So if you see, we have a small logic in our PLC. So we are reading the humidity and temperature from the Raspberry Pi. We knew that. And if you see the code, I just made a small example. So LE is less comparison for the less. So if the temperature is less than set point, the heater will be on. Okay, now the set point is 0, so 26 is not less than 0, that's why it's false. And this value, set point temperature, we are going to set from the cloud. So from the cloud we'll push the set point value in the PLC. So I will open this variable. So if the set point is more than 26, then the heater will be on according to the logic. So if I just put it manually, let's say 56.0, so the output is on. But this value we are not going to change manually, we are going to do it from the cloud. Okay, that's the example which you're going to see. So let's go back to presentation. So this was the hardware software and step of execution. Step one, to install NodeRed app in IBM Cloud. That's the step one. So you need to know how to install this NodeRed app. So let's go back to our IBM account. So this is cloud.ibm.com. So here you have to go to click create resource, and then you have to type here NodeRed. Go to the software and you'll find NodeRed app here. So you have to click on create app. Once you click create app, there will be some step-by-step instructions how to create an app in your cloud. So you can also find the documentation on the internet how to follow these steps, or I can just quickly do it for you here. So click on create app, and this is the app name which you can give by, for example, in this case I will give code and compile. That's my app name, and this is the region. I will choose Frankfurt and click on create. So it will take a couple of seconds to create the app for you, based on your internet speed, based on the cloud server speed. It will create an app. So it says success, app is created. Now it will link a service which is CloudEnd. CloudEnd is a cloud service for database. So this will be automatically linked to your IBM Cloud account. So it is just creating some credentials for the app. So just wait for a few seconds and your credentials will be created. And then you just have to deploy your app. So if I go to my resource list again, so here you can see that this is the CloudEnd coming here, and this is the code and compile app. So it says deploy. Now it needs an API key, which I don't have, so I will just create new. And you can define how much memory you need for this. So 128 is okay. So it will validate the host name. Maybe I give Frankfurt. Or maybe with London, I have my credentials saved. Validating host name, it's currently in use. Okay, so if I go to my resource list, you might see this is currently in use. Okay, NodeRed. This looks okay. Then I go create. And I go to my resource list and I will refresh. And let's see the app, developer toolchain. So my Git is configured, this is configured, this is in progress. So you have to wait until it deploys the app. So sometimes it takes a couple of minutes. So once it will start deploying, you will find Cloud Foundry app, and here you will see code and compile. Okay, so just wait for this to come. So now it is running. So click on this one. So now it says not running. So we have to make sure this is running. Let's refresh again. So if it says not running, just go here and restart. You have to make sure this is started. Once it's started, then we will visit the URL. So you can see that I have 256 memory. So 128 MB I located, or I assigned to this app, code and compile. And this is my NodeRed app. Okay, now you can see this app is awake. So this is the confirmation message. Then you click on visit app URL. So now you have NodeRed. It says welcome to your NodeRed instance in IBM Cloud. So click on next. And then you have to define some username and password, which is used to access this NodeRed. So I will define username for myself. And you have to remember this username and password. So maybe I will also write it somewhere, because I have so many accounts and sometimes I even forget what I wrote. So I can also allow people to view it, but does not make any changes. That's okay for me. Next, and then you click next, and then you click finish. So these are the startup settings to start the NodeRed. All right. So it may take a couple of 5 or 10 minutes based on the server time. So once it's done, then you will see your dashboard on the cloud. So if you see here, this is my NodeRed in PLCnext. And here you will see the NodeRed in my cloud server. And that's the unique URL you will get. So mine is cloudandcompile-nodred.eu-gb.mybluemix.net. So this is the unique link. And you can open this link in any computer and you can work on this online NodeRed from anywhere. So once it's completed, you will see the main programming window. So we'll wait a couple of seconds more. Okay, finally my NodeRed dashboard is here. So this is ready here, and you can see the link. This is on my server. So going back to my steps. So step 1 was to install NodeRed app in IBM Cloud, which we did that. Second step is install some plugins related to IBM and IoT, which we will do in our NodeRed dashboard. Now I'll go back to my NodeRed, and I have to install 2 important plugins. So if I see here, I have some plugins already installed. This is in the dashboard. Now this is in the NodeRed in the server. So I will go to Manage Palette. You must log in. So okay, let me just log in again. So let's log in. Now where's the login window? Hold on. Let me refresh. So I log in. So now I'm logged in. Go to the Manage Palette, and I want to install IBM IoT. This one I need to install, and another one which says Watson IoT. So I need these 2 plugins which are important. So again, I have to wait a few seconds until it's installed. Okay, so now you can see that this is finally installed. Now we need to install another one. So we'll go Watson here. And I need to install this one, IBM Watson IoT. Then again, I have to wait a couple of seconds. So you can see that this is also installed. So once this is installed, you will notice you will find this IBM in and Watson IoT. All right. So step 2 was install IBM IoT plugin. Then comes the step 3, send values to registered IoT device from cloud. And this video is getting a bit longer, so I will continue to step 3 in the next video. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.